Hey, Joe here from Home Studio Corner. Today I want to tell you how to solve your biggest mixing problems in 5 to 10 minutes. But first I want to tell you a story. I did a mixing workshop at my studio. This was several years ago, and I think it was 4 people drive into Nashville, and we hung out for the day, and I mixed a song, and then we did some other things. One of the things we did was listen to their mixes, so I could give feedback, offer critique, and do that all in real time, which is really fun to do. There was one guy who was there, and before we listened to his mix, he had this disclaimer, and he said, I've been really struggling with this mix probably for, I don't know how long it was, but it sounded like it'd been like weeks, maybe months. I can't get the vocal right. He said there's too much sibilance on the vocal. Sibilance is S's and T's. When you have a vocal, the combination of the microphone and then compression on the vocal makes that sibilance sometimes too loud. And he talked about it for a little bit. He said, I've tried de-essers, I've tried EQ, I've tried multiband, I've tried everything. I can't get it under control, and it's just driving me crazy, and it's making me insane, and I can't fix it. So he kind of like backed away from the speakers and said, good luck listening to it. It's going to chop your head off with all this sibilance. So it was me and 3 or so other people in the room listening on these speakers, a decently treated room, hit play, and we listened. And about 4 minutes later, we stopped playback after the song was over, and we all kind of looked at each other, and we said, hey, I didn't hear any sibilance problems. It just sounded like a normal, well-mixed vocal. There certainly wasn't any huge, obvious problem with sibilance that was chopping our heads off. It was actually a non-issue at all. See, that's the thing. When you get so far deep into a project, you sometimes lose all perspective. And whatever you focus on, if you focus on it too much, it instantly becomes a problem. It's like, say a word over and over, and suddenly it becomes awkward. And it doesn't even sound like a word anymore. Like bubble, 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 bubble. Bubble, 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 bubble. I feel like I'm losing my mind. That's what we do when we're mixing. So this guy had been listening to that one little frequency range, a little bit above like 7K, and that's all he could hear in the vocal. His brain, he trained his ears to listen to that frequency range, and that's all he could hear, when in reality, it wasn't a problem. So, my advice to you, if you've got these big mixing problems and you're working hard on them and you can't figure out how to fix them, there's one of 2 things is happening. Either one, you haven't learned the technique. Well, there's 3 things that could be at play. One, the recordings aren't great, so the mixes will never be great. So you need to go back and get better recordings. Number 2, there's a problem and there is a solution, combination, EQ, compression, something like that you just haven't learned that skill yet. That could be the answer, but the probably overwhelming majority of you will fall under category 3, where the thing that you think is an issue is actually a non-issue. Maybe not the majority of you, but I would say a third of the time, it's actually not a problem. How do you solve this? You got to invite somebody else into the problem. Whether it's another audio person, your spouse, me, bring somebody else into it. By the way, I do paid critiques, but I can't do them for free anymore. Bring somebody else in who can listen and give you feedback. You can say, I've got this huge problem, here's the problem, what do you think? Or you can just have them just listen to it and then give you feedback after the fact. Chances are the thing that you thought was a huge problem, they might not even hear. So, let yourself off the hook a little bit, invite other people into your work to ground you, to get you back into reality, because it's really easy to get lost in here. And let them tell you if the things you think are problems are actually problems. Now, when it comes to mixing, I love mixing. I love talking about mixing. I love shooting videos about mixing. I love writing about mixing, so much so that I made a guide on mixing. That's a little 7-8 page PDF called 5-Step Mix. And it lays out step by step a process, a workflow that you can apply to any mix of any type of song, and it will help you get through the mix more quickly, it'll help you mix it better, and it'll help you know where you are every step of the way so you can be much more intentional with your time. So, if you haven't checked it out yet, it's at 5stepmix.com. I bet you $5 there's a link right here that tells you exactly where to go, or there's a link below the video. Go get it, it's free, it'll change your mixes, I promise. All right, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you around. Bye.